trying to evaluate nth roots and use rational exponents. So first thing we're going to have to do is convert between two different formats. So if I give you a variable, a number, or something, and then the exponent is actually a fraction. So I'm going to put n over d for numerator over denominator. This is what we call a rational exponent. It's fractional. I can rewrite this as a radical. So I'd put the denominator of the fraction in the index, in the little groove. The a, the base, goes here, and then the numerator of the fraction would go right there. Now, you could also write it this way, so you'd have d, the a underneath, and then the n would be outside. So those mean the same thing. We can also rewrite this if I give you a if I give you a base with a negative fractional exponent, remember that this really means 1 over, because this is over 1, so you move that to the denominator, 1 over whatever your base is to the positive n over d. So then this time it's going to look like this. You have 1 over your radical. The denominator of the fraction goes in the index, in the little groove, and then a to the nth. Or, again, you could rewrite it, put the d in the exponent, the a here, and the exponent, the numerator on the outside. So again, the two different formats is just going to depend on what's going to make it look nicer or what's going to make it easier to work with. All right, let's practice going back and forth between these. The first one we're going to do, I'm going to give you a radical. So I'm going to give you the fourth root of 81, and then I'm just going to choose to put it in this format. So what I'd want you to do is rewrite this as a rational exponent. So I want you to write it with an exponent, and the exponent is actually a fraction. And that would just be 81 to the 3/4 power. And that's all you have to do. You've got some homework problems where that's all you need to do. All right, why don't you try one by yourself here? Try to rewrite that one. So I gave you a rational. I want you to change it to 7 to the 2/5. And that's all you need to do. Let's try and we're going in the other direction where I give you a rational exponent first and then you change it to a radical. So first one we're going to try here is 62 to the 7/3. Now we've done a few of these. Why don't you see if you can rewrite that? Push pause if you need a second. You start with your radical. The denominator goes in the index. The 62 goes underneath. It's up to you if you want to put the 7 exponent on the outside or if you want to put it underneath. And it should accept both methods on buzz. All right, let's actually use this now to try to simplify some uglier expressions. All right, so here's your directions. You're going to evaluate each expression without a calculator. So if I give you 16 to the 3/2 power, because I'm going to show you in a little bit how to just type that into your calculator, but I want you to try without a calculator because I have no clue what that is in my head. But if I rewrite this with a radical, the 2 is actually going to go in the index right there. The 16 goes under the radical, and then I need to decide, do I want to put the 3 under the radical with the 16 or do I want to put it outside? I'm going to choose to put it outside because without a calculator, 16 cubed is pretty ugly. Remember, if there's a 2 in the index, that means a square root, so I really didn't even have to write that. So if it's missing, it just means that there's a 2 there. I know the square root of 16 is 4, and then 4 cubed is really 4 times 4 times 4, and that's 64. So maybe you'll remember doing that from all the cubes we've been working with. All right, let's try another one. I'll give you 32 to the negative 3/5 power. So this time we have a negative exponent. Remember, you can always get rid of a negative exponent by moving it to the denominator. So here's what the problem really looks like. 1 over 32 to the positive 3/5. Again, I have no clue what that is. But if I change it to a radical like I did here, it might be a little bit easier. So I've got 1 over, the index is going to be the denominator, 5. 32 goes underneath. 32 cubed is going to be pretty ugly, so I'm going to cube it later. So right now I have 1 on top. The 5th root of 32, you've got to try to figure out what number times itself 5 times is going to equal 32. And that's actually 2. And then 2 cubed is just 8. So 1 over 8. All right. Let me show you now how to use a calculator. So you could just type it right in, and they're not always going to be quite this nice. All right, so now I want you to get your calculator out because I'm going to show you how to use this. If you have a different calculator than I do, and you're not sure how to use it, I'll help you when you get to class. All right, so I am going to start with, we're on number 6 here. I'm going to give you the 4th root of 82, which is obviously an ugly number, cubed. So we can type it into the calculator exactly like that, or you could actually rewrite it as the 4th root of 82 cubed, or you could even write it as 82 to the 3/4 power. So I'm going to show you how to type all 3 of those into the calculator, and we should get the same answer. And then we're going to round to the nearest thousandth. Remember, thousandth is 3 decimal places. All right. Okay. Calculator. If I'm going to do the 4th root, I've got to hit 4, and I'm trying to get this button right there, that green. So I've got to hit second caret, and it pops into the index. And then I've got 82. I forgot to put my parentheses, so I'm going to put a parenthesis there. I'm going to go back all the way, insert another parenthesis. So I probably would have started with those parentheses. And then I'm going to raise that. I use the caret button to the 3rd power. So right now I've got 27.2496. Let me try it this way. Plus this is nice double checking to make sure I do the right. I got it right. So I've got the 4th root. I did the same thing, 4 second, that 82. And now, since I'm already under the radical, I can just do the 3rd. So got the same answer again. We're doing pretty good. Now I'm going to type it as a rational exponent. Just means a fraction in the exponent. So get into the exponent. You can even hit your n over d. I've got 3 over 4. And I got the same answer yet again. Just make sure you round it correctly. So it's 27 point, I need 3 places, so since the 4th is a 6th, it's going to be 250. So 27.250.